Hello and welcome to Clinton's Corner. My name is Clinton Jarman. Thanks once again for joining me on this fine Monday evening. So lots to talk about. Obviously, Super Rugby getting started. There's the ongoing NBA season. There's also obviously the Super Bowl that happened now yesterday, as well as lots of sports starting now. Momentum One Day Cup, which I will be covering, as well as Super Rugby, which started this weekend as well. Like I have said before, guys, it's very difficult for me to cover everything, but I will try my best. So just before I get into this week's sporting action, just hit that like button. Also hit that notification button, guys, so you can get all the latest from Clinton's Corner. And also, guys, don't forget to subscribe on the Fair Digest YouTube channel, as well as the online magazine, thefairdigest.com. Also, guys, get those comments in below. I'd love to hear from you guys. So then straight into things, and where else to start but the Super Bowl. Obviously the showpiece event in the football world, and in many ways it lived up to the hype. And it was it was tough to watch at times because not because of the game, but just because of the lateness of it. It started at around 2 o'clock this morning, so it was a tough one for me, but it's one of those things you just got to do. So straight into it, then the 49ers, they jumped out to an early lead with a field goal after a good opening drive. Kansas City would have taken that, considering they stopped them pretty near the end zone there. Chiefs answered back through a touchdown, a touchdown run in from Patrick Mahomes after a crucial, not crucial, but I think it turned out to be crucial, 4th and 1 conversion on the 49ers 5-yard line. Then the 49ers answered back again with a touchdown pass from Jimmy Garoppolo to Kyle Juszczyk in the end zone after the 49ers held the Chiefs to a field goal, and we went in at halftime 10-all. The first half was a bit of a seesaw for both teams. I think feeling the pressure of the Super Bowl. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes in his first one, Jimmy G not in his first one, but his first one as a starter. So he would have been feeling the nerves as well as a few others might have been feeling the nerves. Maybe a few drops, things that you would normally do in a game that you didn't. And I thought that the 49ers looked a better team in the first half. They played sort of more of their run game in the first half, but they did give the ball to Jimmy G quite a bit. Then in the second half, the third quarter to be specific, the 49ers took a 10-point lead through a field goal and then a rush touchdown from Mostert. And I must admit that at that point I did think that this game could be the 49ers, but something strange happened. The 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan put the ball in Jimmy G's hands and said, okay, well, you're going to bring us home now. And then in the fourth quarter, Patrick Mahomes happened. The reigning the reigning MVP from last season. He wasn't having one of his best games, to be honest. It wasn't a vintage Pat Mahomes performance, but he did enough to get his team within striking distance. And then, despite his 2 interceptions, in the fourth quarter he took the game over late on, and had a clutch 3rd and 15 quite late in the game. Where Tyreek Hill got open and he managed to find him quite easily. And then from that moment on, there was only one win in this game, as the Chiefs scored twice late to make it 31-20. Despite having an off day, Pat Mahomes walked away with the Super Bowl ring, and walked away with the Super Bowl MVP as well. Now, Pat Mahomes didn't have the best of games, and if you asked me, probably I think maybe Deebo Samuels might have been in the running. There's also the one running back, Williams, I think, was also in the hunt. But in the end, I think those last two drives, which sealed the game, I think that weighed heavy, and that last 3rd and 15 counted heavy in the MVP voting. It wasn't his best game, but he did enough to get the win, I think. Whereas Jimmy G on the night was kind of hit and miss. He was kind of inaccurate, and it just I don't know. It just speaks volumes for obviously Kyle Shanahan was a coordinator when he was at Atlanta when the Patriots came back and beat them from, I think it was 21-0 down. So I think maybe he was a bit nervous to just keep running the ball the whole time. But to be fair, you were 20 points up. I would have just kept running the ball, ramming it down their throats, and trying to wind down the clock. But it just wasn't the case. And I think that the 49ers will learn from this, being conservative like that. Also, I think they try to prove a point. Jimmy G is good enough, but clearly he is not good enough. And they put him up against the best quarterback in the league, and they came up short, unfortunately. So congrats to the Chiefs. Halfway through the season, it wasn't looking too good with Mahomes out injured. But, they rallied, and in the end, 3 straight comeback victories is nothing to sniff at, and I think they are well-deserved Super Bowl champions. Okay, guys, moving back home now, we're going to look at some Super Rugby action. So, obviously, the start of Super Rugby, very exciting for me. Obviously, South Africa being world champs now, I would like our Super Rugby teams to stamp their authority on the Super Rugby competition, because I feel it's a competition we haven't done well in over the years. Even with a plethora of players leaving overseas this season, I think there's still a chance for at least 2, maybe 3 sides to get into those playoffs. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. First game up, the Sharks, they took on the Bulls. Sharks winning 23-15 in this one. Bulls led at halftime. Bit of a scrappy game. Obviously this is the earliest that has ever been played in the competition's history, and in Durban, the humidity and the sweat on your hands tend to play a role. So there was a very scrappy game, lots of drop balls. Sharks took control in the second half with 2 tries and a penalty to take the win, but I think the Bulls just lacking on attack. They did squander an opportunity. I think Cornel Hendricks squandered one over the line. So out of these two, I just think that the Sharks were the better team on the day, and the Bulls maybe just lacking something in attack. Then the Stormers, they took on the Hurricanes. Now the Stormers, I have eyed as a potential maybe winner of the competition. I think that retaining most of the Springbok winning World Cup winning Springboks is going to put them in good stead, and so it proved as they won 27-0 over the Hurricanes. An absolutely dominant display from the Stormers, scoring 19 unanswered points in the first half. Second half didn't quite live up to the billing. It was, again, it's early, it's hot. That played a role. Also, the game was quite early at 3 o'clock. And there was a bit of wind around as well, so a bit of a scrappy second half, but only one score late on, when it looked like the Hurricanes might be in to score a try on the Stormers' 5 meter line. Damien Willemse came between man and ball and ran in pretty much from his own try line to score. And the deal was already sealed, but to just the cherry on top for Damien. Just by the way, Damien's playing in his natural number 10 position, which I like. I think he has a bright future there. Then last but not least, the Lions, they took on the Jaguares in Argentina. First half was a tight affair. Credit to the Lions for showing some good character on defense. They were leading at one point, but going into the second half, they were down 10-8. And then second half was one-way traffic, and the Lions got an absolute hiding and a rugby lesson as they lost 38-8. The Jaguars ran in 4 second half tries, and it just harks back to the days of, when Lions were rebuilding a few years ago. Now, maybe even 7, 8, 10 years ago, maybe, when they were in that rebuilding phase and getting hammered. Now, I hope that's not the case. I hope this is maybe just first game jitters and that they can improve. They have lost a lot of players this season. I think I mentioned in an article that there was maybe up to 16 players that have left the franchise this season. So it's going to be tough for them. I don't see them making any sort of playoff run. But maybe they can get something together towards the end and cause a few upsets in the other team's favor. That is all I have for you today, guys. As I have been saying, it's difficult for me to cover everything. I obviously don't want these videos to be sort of half an hour long. I want to keep it quite short for you guys. But if there is anything else you would like me to cover, you can gladly comment below, and I will definitely cover those things for you. And then, guys, just before I go, don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button so you can get all the latest from Clinton's Corner, the Wild Pro Tier, the Fair Digest, and the fairdigest.com. That is everything. So have a wonderful week ahead, guys, and I will see you again tomorrow after the ODI. I will be posting a video, a match reaction from the first ODI in Cape Town. So join me then. Cheers, guys. Have a wonderful Monday evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.